The summer wind came blowing in from across the lake. It lingered there, it touched my hair, and singing was a mistake. Wow, I can't believe this is going to go up on YouTube. I, I hope my oldest friend Jeremy enjoyed that because he's the one that's been asking me to be a vocalist for his urging band. So consider this my audition. And, well, leave a comment if you enjoy it. Yeah, I've never started a show that way. So you're probably curious, well, Robe on a Boat, what's this all about? So I want to welcome you to another episode of the Robe Live podcast. I am your host, the Robe Guy. I am just a man that loves bathrobes. Very simple, a man of simple tastes, and yet there's nothing better to me than just throwing on a robe. I have a nice, comfy. I'm gonna call it gray. Yeah, um, reminds me of that movie Can Hardly Wait when well, I'm not going to get the character names, but they're asking someone to describe, somebody like, well, tall, kind of. They like to wear shirts. Keeping it simple. Those were simpler times back in the '90s. But in any event, I thought the robe tonight would be it'd be a nice thing to do just because it's a little cool out here, a little windy. Run about, mother effer, again. This is our third special limited edition, if you will, of the Robe on a Boat within our Robe Life podcast universe. As a amateur podcaster, I've been trying a lot of different things, different formats, introducing some intro and outro music by again the infamous Jeremy Van. And yeah, he can play a little guitar, he's playing his bass. So again, I mean the voice earlier, I just love Frank with a few modifications, of course, being out here on the lake. And yeah, well, I'll keep you posted on what could be a very short musical career. And the other thing you may notice if you tuned into the first Robe on a Boat series, and if you were able to listen or rather watch via video, is well, it's a little darker out. And I thought it'd be fun to just try we'll call it, Robe After Dark, if you will, or Robe at Sunset. Trying to think. Robe Shoe Diaries. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. I don't know if there's any Red Shoe Diary fans out there that would get that reference. Um, I think that was a show that I was probably trying to stay up late and watch when I was 10 years old. I'll leave it at that. So we're going to work on the title. These are shapes title ideas. This will all fall under, again, the Robe on a Boat. And the show is just, in general, the Robe Life podcast. If you couldn't tell already, got the backwards hat. I'm on a boat in a bathrobe. So this must seem like a strange thing to take in, but that's just me. I like to relax. I like to reflect. Sometimes I do some of my best reflection in a robe, whether that's morning, noon, or night. And I do my best to respect others, whether that's viewpoints, animals, people, organizations. And I try to have fun doing it. So, a lot of the content we cover on the show, including tonight, it's going to be a little random. That's intentional. In fact, give you a little bit of a preview. It's going to be Random Encounters of the Road Kind, Volume 3, I think we're at. And, well, if there's anything more random than me kicking off singing, sort of an adjusted version of Frank Sinatra's Some Wind, well, it doesn't get much more random than that. So, and, as usual, the lake is a bit angry right now, my friends. We won't be out here too long. And then surprisingly, again, the setting sun, well, the sun has set. This is I think my seventh or eighth take. I haven't yet become too adept at just giving it a whirl and then doing some editing at the back end. So I say all that because my intention was to have the beautiful orange, well, sort of blood orange color, not too unlike this beverage. Boink. Oh man, I still haven't grown up my fingernails to be effective at that. Uh, Incidentally, I do love those. Yeah, San Pellegrino. Zero, 0 grams of sugar. Lovely. And so I'm sorry that if you're tuning in via video, you aren't able to enjoy the sun. It was just over my shoulder not too long ago. But in any event, let's press on. The Robe Dog misses you all. She's at home relaxing on the couch. I didn't think coupled, the conditions coupled with the darkening skies, have the lights on the boat on now, but she wishes you the best. You'll definitely see her again. So couple things just to touch on in this episode before we, as always, donate to a local nonprofit group. Um, so talking again this morning to my oldest friend Jeremy, I mentioned it before. I asked him how his weekend was, and yeah, such a great one-liner. And he's good at that. He has these moments sometimes, like we all do. But yeah, I just catching up. Said, hey, how was your weekend? After I, belabored everything that was going on in my life, and he kept it simple. It's always said, well, it didn't blow me away. I just love that. Um, and while we didn't get into the sort of what would it have taken to blow him away, which could be its own episode. In fact, maybe I'll have him on as a guest again. It sort of is a bit of a plug. You can find him in the first video on this channel, childhood favorites. But Jeremy, he's, it's funny. He always sometimes surprises me with his humor. And what a way to respond to that question. It invites, well, I asked him a few questions. It invites dialogue. If I think back to kind of that classic workplace trope or sort of those, interactions you have, you just kind of go with a simple, it was good. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Maybe expand a little bit, talk about something you did. There's a couple of, polite smiles and nods, and then everyone just kind of goes on their way. But to say it didn't blow me away, I mean, again, I think we need to use that in other settings. Whether it's like, I don't know, like, hey, how was the workout? Well, it didn't blow me away. Uh, how was that iced coffee? It didn't blow me away. Uh, how was this podcast? Well, it didn't blow me away. Anyway, so I think there's a lot of terrain there that we could explore in the future. Another fun thing I saw today was Alexis drove by me and she cut me off. It happens, we've all been there. But what I wasn't expecting was there to be a vanity plate that said Lex Luthor on it. Bravo. I don't think we do enough to celebrate the villains, our fictional villains anyway. In fact, I was just taking in Karate Kid 2 rewatchables with Bill Simmons and Kyle Grant the other day. Hat tip to them as always. But anyway, they talked about Sato, who was one of the villains, if you recall, if you saw that movie. And they sort of positioned him within a villain ranking. And of course, these are villains. Sometimes they're doing dark things in the movies, and they can be violent, they can be cruel. And at the same time, if I think about some of those classic villains, well, Lex Luthor is definitely up there. And I just thought, man, that is awesome. Let's celebrate some of our fictional protagonists from time to time. Another thing is, well, we all know it's a small, but one of the things that, sort of reiterated that for me recently is here I am up in beautiful Spago Lake here in Maine. If I didn't mention that before, on my little pontoon boat, which I'm very fortunate to have. And I was getting a sandwich at a place called the Good Life, and I had a little Robe dog with me, and she always, generates a little attention. As you can imagine, I mean, some people mistake her for a squirrel. Sometimes she's yapping and just be quiet. But in any event, someone asked if they could pet her, and at first I didn't hear them, and I'm hearing impaired too. So I wear hearing aids, and I made sure I sort of just mentioned that. You said, "Oh, so sorry, I didn't mean to not hear you." And they said, "Oh, no problem. I'm actually hearing impaired myself." And we got to talking and learned that they were from the South Shore area, which is where I grew up, and learned that we both go to the same audiologist, the very same place to get our hearing aids and our hearing aids repaired, our hearing evaluation. So, I mean, the probability of running into someone, or from some area that you're familiar with, say up in Maine, if you're from Boston or Massachusetts, it's not super, super. But in any event, super nice guy. Really had a nice chat. And I just love kind of those random moments, walking into a random place, having a conversation with someone where you can make that connection. Let's see. Thor. Wow, I said it's going to be random, right? So before I got on the boat here, I popped on YouTube TV and found the original Thor movie, which I think is the first one. Not sure if it's the first one that Chris Hemsworth appeared as Thor in. I know there's some, Spider-Man, for example. I think he didn't actually, as Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think he showed up in an Avengers movie before sort of a Spider-Man dedicated movie. And yet I digress. Natalie Portman is in this. Well, I wasn't aware. I had seen her in Glitch, and I realized that the movie Thor is probably now 10 years old. But, oh boy, yeah, Natalie Portman. She gets the motor running for me. So once I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to be efficiently making my way back to shore and hopefully taking in the rest of that movie. I guess she plays the character Jane, Thor's love interest. Who wouldn't want to be Thor's love interest? And then before we make our donation, I just want to close out with a sort of root for the Red Sox tonight. They're in Toronto. I used to live in Toronto. It's a wonderful city, and had many great memories from there. And outside of having meatballs and sauce thrown on my car there at one time, overall it was a pretty positive experience. Met some friends, some great colleagues, company I work for. All that said, let's go Sox. Let's get back to our winning ways. Let's win another series. I'm not really sure how we fell apart against the A's, but saying to another fellow Red Sox fan, you're not going to win them all. Better to get a few bumps in the road here, you know, build from that, get through it, keep on moving. So, with all that, folks, lastly, as we do in each and every episode, that is a short form show, we're going to donate today to another nonprofit group, and I'm excited to donate to Camp Sunshine. And Camp Sunshine is a very special place. Not a place I've been to and experienced, but a special place because I know of all the wonderful work they do and their affiliation with Point Sebago, which is a wonderful outdoor family resort, which is actually not too far from where I am right now, that we used to go to, my family and I, for a very long time. And my first exposure to Camp Sunshine was during happy hours that Point Sebago would have, and they would often have a raffle as a way to kind of give back to an organization in the community. And it was often Camp Sunshine they had a partnership with. So we'd be buying raffle tickets. It was like a 50-50 raffle. And from there, I obviously, wanted to learn more about what they do. So Camp, Sunshine inspires hope in children with life-threatening illnesses and their families through a very unique supportive program at their campus here on Sebago Lake. And when a child faces serious illness, the entire family, of course, is affected. It can be very difficult. So their program is very unique. It's offered year round and has the distinction of having been designed to serve the entire family in what's known as a retreat model. And since they were first founded in 1984, they have offered comfort, hope, and support to over 60,000 ill children, siblings, and parents from all 50 U.S. states and 27 countries, which is just remarkable. And as a final point here, just to iterate the power of the work they do, families attend illness-specific sessions. So it's very customized and tailored to the individual child or children that are experiencing the illness. And these sessions are of varying lengths where they have an opportunity to solidify and renew their own relationships while meeting others facing similar challenges. So whether families are looking to try something new in the recreational program, connect with other families, or just relax, Camp Sunshine has something for everyone. So we will make a small donation of just $100 today to support their cause. And we're very happy to do so. We're big fans of Camp Sunshine. Keep up the great work. And with all that, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this Robe After Dark, Sunset Robe special limited edition. And you can find me on Spotify under the Rogue Life podcast. And you can also find me on Instagram at The Rogue Guy. Stay kind to everyone. Continue to be humble all and take care.